Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews and to another What I'm Reading Right Now video here on the channel. This is a series where every week I talk about what I have been reading, what I'm currently reading, and what I'm going to be reading next. It's quite early on Wednesday morning, that's why the light is coming in this way. It'll shift around as I film, don't worry too much about it. I've not read very much since the last time we spoke. I feel like the last 2 weeks I had a lot of reading energy, and this week it's just not happening. That's fine. I'm very, very busy with various other life things at the moment. There's an event coming up. There's a lot of stuff to get done at work. Reading sometimes takes a back seat, and that's okay. I have finished 4 things since last time we spoke. However, 2 of them will be probably getting dedicated videos, so this might be a short one. Sorry about it. First up, I finished Promises Stronger Than Darkness by Charlie Jane Anders. This is the 3rd book in the Unstoppables series. I liked this a lot. I had a really good time reading this whole trilogy, actually, and I am going to film a dedicated review for it. I think this is a really interesting YA series. It's YA sci-fi, YA space opera, and I don't think it'll be for everyone for a number of reasons. I'll move the mic a little bit closer to me. Sorry if the audio changed. Yeah, I don't think it'll be for everyone for a number of reasons, but I do think there is a specific audience that would really enjoy this. I think if you're going to read it, you kind of have to get through the first book. I think the first book is probably the worst of the 3, and probably the 3rd book is my favourite. If you like sci-fi, if you like interesting explorations of like what's gender like for aliens, this kind of book might be for you. It then gets a little bit muddly because I finished a bunch of stuff yesterday. So let's go in the order Storygraph thinks it was in, even though I don't think that's quite correct. I finished The Deep by River Solomon. This was a reread of this beautiful, beautiful novella. This is an absolutely fantastic novella that will have an overbooked video coming up in 3 or 4 weeks, I think. This is just fantastic. It's based off an interesting, they could describe it as a game of telephone in the book. There was an original story, then there was a song by the band Clipping, and then there was the book. They all kind of draw from the same inspiration. This is a world where the children of the pregnant enslaved women who were thrown off ships are sort of these kind of mermaid-esque creatures, but obviously their history is so heavy to hold that they give all of their history to certain individuals of their community, and we follow one of those individuals who is really struggling with carrying that burden. It's a really beautiful story. River Solomon writes harrowingly but beautifully, and yeah, I really would recommend it, and I will talk more about it in an upcoming review video. I finished the new TJ Klune in The Lives of Puppets. This is the 3rd book in this sort of, it's not a series, but I guess they're making them all visually very similar. So we've had House in the Cerulean Sea, we've had, oh, I've got it to hold up for you. We've had Under the Whispering Door, and now we've got In the Lives of Puppets. This is a loose Pinocchio retelling. It's definitely drawing on a lot of the original source material from Pinocchio, but it's more using those themes and ideas, I would say, rather than being a strict retelling, but that might be me not knowing Pinocchio super well. I know it better than I knew it last year, but I definitely don't think it's something I'm an expert in. In this, we have a main character who has been growing up in this kind of secluded house in the woodland. His name is Vic. He lives with his father, who is an android, a nurse robot, and a vacuum cleaner robot. Vic is a human, and this is important to know, and everything's going well for them until one day they pull another android out of a scrap heap, bring him back to life, and everything starts to go very wrong for them, and suddenly they have to go on the run. So it's almost like a reverse Pinocchio in a lot of ways. There's some really interesting stuff going on. I don't think this was my favourite TJ Klune work. I just didn't gel with the characters as much as I wanted to, and I think if I read it again knowing what the tone was, which is quite humorous, it's quite a funny book with a lot of bad stuff happening in it, I would probably feel very differently about it, so maybe go in knowing there's a lot of that kind of humour in there. I don't know, it wasn't my favourite. I'll have more thoughts in an upcoming video. And lastly, a pick from the Ghosts over on Patreon. They picked for me Sorcerer of the Wild Deeps by Kaya Shanti Wilson. This was a really interesting novella to pick up. I did it by audiobook over a few days while I was walking the dog. I very much enjoyed this. It's the story of a group of people crossing the Wild Deeps, which is like this big foresty thing. It's an interesting world. I don't know that I took a lot of it in. I think I probably want to do a reread of it. Just sometimes my brain is not in the right place to read novellas and to actually take in the information, but my overall reading experience was good. I just don't have a huge amount of recollection of what happened beyond some key moments, which is probably a sign that I need to slow down a little bit, I suspect. I'm not currently in the middle of anything because I haven't been picking anything up, but I think next what I'm going to start is, if I can get it out without destroying my entire office, Doombringer. This is in library binding because I bought it secondhand. This is a second book in the Cade Saga, which is my next Edge Chronicles book. Normally I read these right at the start of the week so I can talk about one a week. I didn't do it this time. I'm looking forward to picking this up. It's going to be what I start next. And then I also have Salvation's Fire by Justina Robson, which I've had on my TBR for so long. so long, and I really desperately want to finish it. I don't know if it's going to happen. I really wish there were an audiobook of this. I think I would enjoy it much more via audio. I can't find it in any of the places I normally look. I'm annoyed about it. It's fine. And then because I didn't finish it last week, I didn't even start it last week because I was so busy, I now have to read The Bone Shard Daughter and The Bone Shard Emperor. Am I going to manage that in 3 days? We'll see. We'll see. I have a couple of new things that I've added to my TBR since the last time we spoke. First up, I have The Sword Defiant by Gareth Hanrahan. This is a book that I have been tentatively looking forward to. It doesn't look like the kind of thing I would normally pick up and enjoy. It's a little bit of that kind of fantasy that isn't usually my jam, but because I loved The Gutter Prayer, the Black Iron Legacy series so much, I'm hoping I enjoy this as well. And I'm trying it. I'm trying new things. I'm gonna try it. It's gonna be a good time, probably. We'll see. More excitingly, I have this big chunky arc of Gods of the Weirdwood by R.J. Barker. This is the start of R.J. Barker's new series with Orbit, and I'm so excited to read this. I am profoundly excited. I do not currently have the time until I think May to read this, so it's going to be sat for a little while, but don't worry, I'm coming for you. This is out in June and it is a foresty book, which is always a good one for me. I think the only new release I want to mention this week is that The Storm Beneath the Midnight Sun, which may have come out this time last year or it was a misprint in their NetGalley. I don't know. Storm Beneath the Midnight Sun. It exists. I'm filming a review for that whole series today as well. Can you tell I've got a lot of filming to do? I'd better get my brain in gear. There's a bunch of stuff out next week though, so we'll talk a lot about it then. Well, a pretty short one, especially compared to last week where I feel like I read a billion things, but it's just not been happening. I think partly because nothing that's in my schedule has an audiobook that I have access to, and normally I try and knock out a couple of them via audiobook, but it's just not been happening and I need to find some time to sit down with a book. And that's oh, it sounds like such a hardship, you know. Oh no, I'll have to sit down with a book for 20 minutes. But it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'll find the time. I'll have a good time. Let's go. What have you been reading? What have you been up to? Let me know down in the comments below. I always love hearing from you. While you're down there commenting, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated. And I'm so close to 3K. It's very, very exciting. I might even fix my dungarees in celebration. You can also, if you would like, follow me on social media. You can come hang out on Discord where we have chill chats about books. I'd like to say an enormous huge thank you to all the ghosts who haunt me over on Patreon. They support the channel and in return get early access to videos, bonus content, live streams, and more. Most recently, they got a big juicy updated stats for the year so far, which was so much fun to write. So I'd like to say a big thank you to them for facilitating my writing that kind of content. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one. There's gonna be some bloopers now. Welcome. Ooh, bug off. Luna, bring it here. Loons? Right, we'll fix that. 1 second.